If you're a driver, are visiting, or live in North Carolina, there's a really important rule you need to know about called contributory negligence. Contributory negligence, or better known as contrib to lawyers here in North Carolina, is a very archaic rule that only a handful of states apply. Contrib essentially at its core means that if you do anything to contribute just so much as 1% to your own injuries, there's a complete bar from you being able to recover any compensation whatsoever. Contributory negligence is the lowest of the low-hanging fruit for defendants to grasp for in North Carolina. And that's because the standard is just on the ground. So, by way of example, for you to help understand contributory negligence, say driver A is exiting the interstate and she's on an off-ramp entering an intersection. At the intersection, say she has a green arrow that's telling her, hey, it's safe to turn right, it's your turn, you have the right of way to turn right. Driver B, the defendant driver, has blown through the red light, wasn't paying attention, and he admitted all of this to the police officer. Now, even though he admits to the police officer that he blew the red light and he was not paying attention, the defense is still going to argue that my client, driver A, when she entered into the intersection, she contributed to her own injuries because she didn't stop, regardless of what the light told her to do. Fortunately, there are a couple of exceptions to contributory negligence that we as the plaintiff's lawyers get to argue. One such exception is called the last clear chance. And the last clear chance doctrine essentially says that the plaintiff had placed himself in a position of peril. The defendant knew or should have known by just reasonably paying attention to what he was doing that the plaintiff was in said position of peril. The plaintiff made the conscious decision to keep doing whatever it is they were doing, and the plaintiff was injured as a result. So in short, the defendant driver had every opportunity and every chance to avoid the collision, but just made the decision not to take it. The other argument that we have against contributory negligence is called gross negligence. Gross negligence applies to any reckless, willful, or wanton behavior. Most commonly, we see this when the defendant was drunk, was excessively speeding, was racing, or doing some other behavior that's beyond what's just simple negligence that we see on the road. Gross negligence calls for the defendant driver to show a clear indifference to the safety of others on the road. So, even if you have contributed to your own injuries by that 1% bar that we talked about at the beginning of this video, we as lawyers can argue the gross conduct or the last clear chance, which to shore it all up really means that if the defendant made the decision that they didn't really care about your safety, we still have a good faith argument in court to avoid and overcome the contributory negligence arguments. Contributory negligence is a very complex legal issue that it's almost impossible to overcome without filing the lawsuit and litigating. There are a lot of law firms out there that will see a contributory negligence argument being made and they'll say, sorry, I can't help you. That's why it's important to, one, shop around, figure out which attorneys really will file the lawsuit and go to the mat for you. Here at Horton Mendez, we take a lot of pride in being attorneys that will go to bat for our clients, and we will make those arguments against contributory negligence, because if you only contributed 1%, you should still be able to recover for your health care bills, you should still be able to recover for your lost wages, and you should still be able to recover for the pain and suffering that you've endured because someone else was 99% at fault, because someone else was driving drunk, because someone else could see that you were in that position of peril and made the conscious decision to disregard. Thanks for watching today's video, guys. If you've enjoyed this content, if you want to interact with us, go ahead, leave us a comment, shoot us a message, like, subscribe, follow us on Instagram, follow us on Facebook, and I look forward to the next time we get to talk.